Is Toverland replacing the much beloved Maximus Blitz Bahn? According to insider sources, yes, Toverland is going to remove this fan favorite ride. But why and when? And what will replace the Blitz Bahn? Let's try to answer these questions in this video, starting with a quick rundown of what we're dealing with. Maximus Blitz Bahn is a rare Wiegand Bobkart ride, which is best described as a powered toboggan. The Blitz Bahn replaced the equally iconic Woudracer in 2015, after maintenance costs of the Woudracer started ramping up. During this replacement, theming was added to the ride and the area as well, giving form to the Wonderworld area. So, Maximus Blitz Bahn is only 10 years old, but it's already set to be removed. What has caused this decision? For starters, the ride type is problematic. The predecessor, Woudracer, was also a Wiegand Bobkart and operated between 2004 and 2014. In 2014, the maintenance costs of Woudracer ramped up so much that Toverland had to make a decision regarding its future. And the same story is happening here. After 10 years, it is likely not feasible to maintain the Blitz Bahn anymore. And in addition to that, Wiegand no longer manufactures this model, or supports it. This means that you are on borrowed time. Toverland may be able to keep things running for a bit with spare parts of cars that no longer work, but this is not sustainable for long. Besides the fact that this ride is on its last legs, Toverland has become quite ambitious. When they wanted to replace Woudracer, the conscious decision was made to replace it with the Blitz Bahn, as Woudracer was incredibly popular. And the biggest pain point, the capacity, was accepted for that reason. Now fast forward to 2025, and Toverland has the ambition to become a big destination park. This shows in their expansions of the park, like the most recent Avalon, and their plans to build a hotel in the very near future. Everything is built to handle the bigger crowds. And then you have Maximus Blitz Bahn. One person, or sometimes two, take place in these toboggans. And while sources say that the Blitz Bahn can handle 700 people per hour, this doesn't even get close to that number. If anything, it's closer to 200 or 250 per hour. This is absolutely abysmal, and Toverland knows this. There are days in Toverland where nearly everything is a walk-on, except for Maximus Blitz Bahn. To ride a Blitz Bahn, you will have to wait 45 to 60 minutes. I completely understand that Toverland wants to remove the ride and replace it with something that has a better throughput for the future. So now that we know the reasons, when is the ride expected to be removed? And this we don't know. It has been communicated to be happening in the near future, but near is still a broad term. So we can speculate a bit about it. While no announcement has been made yet, and permits haven't been filed that we know of, there is definitely a chance that the Blitz Bahn is closing this year. Hear me out. In 2026, Toverland will celebrate their 25th anniversary, and what better way to do so by opening a spiritual successor to the Blitz Bahn. As most of the work that has to be done is in the foresty area behind the big halls, it wouldn't really affect any of the park operations. If this is going to happen, I would expect some information to be revealed during the Magic Member Night on the 28th of June. Another option would be that Maximus Blitz Bahn will operate until the end of 2026, and information about its replacement would be revealed during the 25th anniversary celebrations. But at the same time, Toverland is hard at work with planning their next expansion into uncharted territory, so that may be the bigger and more celebratory reveal that they will do. At any rate, I don't think the ride will be around for much longer, so if you hit up Toverland, you may as well give Maximus Blitz Bahn a ride before it's too late. So now that we have talked about the doom and gloom of the ride closing, let's speculate about what can be replacing it. I will try to keep the speculation realistic, and not delve into the wild ideas of a revival of the Intamin Bob, or the replacement taking up the space of both Maximus Blitz Bahn and the booster bike, even though it is fun to think of these options. We will take into account the area, which is the Wonderworld. This is mostly a kid-friendly area with smaller rides that families can enjoy. I don't think the theming will go, so the new ride will still be themed around the Austrian village and the inventor Maximus Müller. And I think the most likely replacement, given the plot of land, would be a roller coaster. The first option, and it's a very likely one, would be a Mack-powered coaster. These tend to be mild rides and perfect for the entire family. It would be the perfect step for kids who grow tired of Toast Express, but are still too small for the booster bikes or are too intimidated by travel wind. And it would definitely have better capacity than what Maximus Blitz Bahn offers right now. The main downside would be the Mack-powered coasters elsewhere in the Netherlands, Max and Moritz at the Efteling. When those were built, the comparison was already made with the Blitz Bahn because it has the same style of theming. And if Toverland ends up going for it, it would be too easy to call it a ripoff of Maximoritz. However, when the replacement for Woudracer was considered, a muck powered coaster was already one of the concepts. So it may just get dusted off. Another option that I would love to see, but I don't really hear any buzz about, would be a Vekoma family lounge coaster. Think of something like Big Bear Mountain in Dollywood, or Lightning at Furuvik in Sweden. This can be perfectly themed to match one of Maximus' contraptions, where you get launched through the forest. But since the available plot of land may not be big enough, you may even consider an option like Aquila at Mandoria in Poland. When you return to the station for the first time, the invention malfunctions and you get launched a second time. This may hurt capacity a bit, but it would still be an exciting addition that is sure to please families. I do think this would be a wildcard guess, but fingers crossed. The third option would be something that Toverland is sorely missing, namely a dark ride. I would love to see what Toverland can cook up with a full-fledged dark ride, but personally I would suspect that to happen with the newest expansion rather than a replacement of Maximus Blitz Bahn. A dark ride would mean that the area behind the halls would get leveled, and an additional hall would have to be added to make space for the dark ride. This seems like a steep investment to make on the short term as well, and I feel like building a big hall next to the current one would really affect the natural light coming in from the sides. So not only would this hall have to be constructed, it would also mean readjusting the light setup of Wunderwald. Unless you just want to stick to a nighttime setting, which would still be valid. On the other hand though, a hall behind the current halls is the best possible location, as it's mostly out of sight for people. So let's say Toverland is willing to go the extra mile for a dark ride here. I would suspect this to be a shooting dark ride. And again, with contraptions built by Maximus Müller, and maybe to battle off other inventions that have gone wild. I absolutely see the potential here, and I would love to see it. But to me, the chances of that happening are a bit lower, and I would place my bets on a big proper dark ride with a new expansion instead. So now we have gone over why Maximus Blitz Bahn will close, and some of the potential replacements. What are your thoughts about it, and what would you love to see as a replacement to this iconic ride? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to give Maximus Blitz Bahn a final ride, I have an on-ride video right here. But don't worry, that one won't go anywhere.